Hey guys, it's Jeff Zelaya here, ready to present Ad Sales 101. For the next 20 minutes, I'm going to be your sales professor, bringing you some golden nuggets that are going to help you close some more deals. And yeah, I'm pumped. Yeah, I'm excited. I got a lot of great stuff to share with you. But first of all, let me thank you for being part of this session. You could have been in any other session, but you chose to be here today, and I believe it's for a reason and a purpose. So let me give you my gratitude and appreciation for joining me. And if you hang on, I guarantee you're going to gain some value from today's session that's going to help you and your business make more money. And who doesn't want to make more money, right? So I'm going to share with you some of the ways that you could do that through sales. Now, although the topic of the session is ad sales, this is not just for those that are selling advertising. If you're selling email marketing, if you're selling SEO services, social media, influencer marketing, whatever your bag is, we're going to be able to help you sell more of that through these principles that I'm going to share with you in the next 20 or so minutes. So if you're ready, hang on, grab your coffee, just chill into your couch or your chair. I'm excited to bring you this stuff. And before I get into the content, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself, right? Because one of my mentors has shown me that people don't buy what you say, they buy why you say what you say. So I think it's important for you to know a little bit about my story. So again, my name is Jeff Zelaya. I'm the VP of Franchise Development for Height Digital, and I've been in digital marketing for the past 10 plus years. And on this slide, you see my beautiful family. But it wasn't always so beautiful, right? I came from a very rough upbringing. I came from an immigrant background. My mom is Costa Rican. She came to America in search of a better future for her family. And I grew up in one of the poorest areas of South Florida, an area in South Florida called Carroll City. And it was tough. There wasn't a lot of opportunities for people that are from that part of the city. But luckily, again, I was very blessed, very fortunate. I had some really good people in my life that helped me get to where I'm at. I am not self-made. I am here through the sacrifices and the mentoring of some great role models. So I'm again, very fortunate for that. But I'm living the American dream, and I never lose sight of that, right? So I'm excited, and I want you to know that about me. Second, I have some really great people that have opened up doors of opportunity. Some of those doors have turned into failures. Some of those doors have turned into great successes. So I'm going to share both of those learnings because I want you to gain value and knowledge from what I've been through. And I started my career in advertising sales. So I worked for one of the top ad agencies in the country. I've also worked for sales and marketing technology companies, fast-growing companies, some that have turned IPO. I have exits from startups that I've also joined. So I got this diverse set of experiences that have helped me and grew my knowledge to be able to then pass this along to you. So that's the second point of what I want to get to is that if you're gaining any kind of value in this presentation today, don't be selfish. Don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone else. Just the way that I'm sharing it and passing it along to you, you have an obligation to pay it forward. So I'm big into that, right? That's part of who I am as a person. I want to make sure that others are gaining and benefiting. And when you do more of that, guess what? It comes back around. So there's a purpose behind that as well. Third, as you can see from this beautiful picture here, I'm a family guy. I've got this beautiful family. My wife, Emma, she's my better half. We've been together this year. We're going to celebrate 10 years of being married. Very excited for that milestone. We've got 3 beautiful kids. That's Elijah there. He's a 7-year-old, very bright kid. We got Elliot, who's my newborn boy, and Ella, my beautiful girl there. So I'm all about family. And I got a second family as well called Height Digital. And it's a company that is it's my extended family. We work as a family together. And that's the reason I joined that organization is not only are we aligned on that value, but we're also aligned on the value of faith. And that's important to me. I'm a Christian. I'm a follower of Jesus. And that's just who I am and how I roll. So I want you to know that about me. And whenever I have a platform like this, I want to share that message. So I think it's important for people to be authentic in how they talk about themselves. So that's something that's important to me. I want you just to know that's how Jeff Zelaya rolls. And you could see more about me. You could see more about my story on Instagram. Follow me there at Jeff Zelaya. I'm an open book, guys. You could interact, engage with me on the Q&A. You could tag me later on Twitter. You could follow my stories. You could, I'm here to serve. And by doing that, right, by serving, you will be served. You will get benefit. So I encourage you, right, to serve others. Have that servant mindset, that servant leadership mindset. That's going to take you so far in life, and that's really how I do sales and how I found the most successful people in sales, how they do it, right? So that's what I want to share with you. So now, enough about me, right? This is not about me. This is not about Jeff Zelaya. This is about you. So let me see your fist. Let me see your fist right now. And boom, let me give you a fist bump, man. You deserve that fist bump. You deserve some kudos. You deserve some props because you're here today investing in yourself. So let me give you some appreciation for that, for having the desire to get better. And already that shows me a lot about who you are if you're making that time to be part of this session today. So I appreciate that about you, and don't ever let up on that. You have to invest in yourself. That is the investment that will never decline in value. So with that being said, let me tell you about some of the things that you're going to take away today from this session, things that I hope I'm able to pass along to you through some of the content that we're going to dive into. But here are the goals. When it comes to sales, number one, you got to be able to find opportunities. Where are the opportunities that are going to benefit me, benefit my company, that are aligned with what I'm selling? We're going to discuss how I've been able to find opportunities and how you're going to be able to find opportunities. Number two, how to engage prospects. So once you've found the opportunity, it's not enough just see it and visualize it, right? You got to take action. And this is one of the toughest part of the sales process, is being able to engage people, being able to get them to want to make time to see you and meet with you and learn about you, right? So I'm going to share with you some of the ways that I found success in being able to engage the right prospects. Third, how to pitch. I want you to pitch like Don Draper. He's the man. Man, if he can't do it, no one can. Don Draper, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Mad Men, which is short for Madison Men, right? Madison Avenue being one of the centers of advertising, like the mecca of advertising, the advertising world back in the day. It still is, right, for some part, but back in the day, it was really the place where advertising agencies set up, where advertisers came to be pitched, right? So I'm going to share with you some of the secrets on how to pitch really well, how to tell stories really well, how to get people to act and take action immediately, right? And in your favor, right? Be persuasive of those stories that you tell. So I'm going to share some of the insight that I have around that topic. Lastly, close the deals, baby. Get that money, baby. Get that money, honey, right? Get people to sign on the dotted line and fax over their order form, right? Not fax now. We do DocuSign, baby. We get them to PandaDoc, whatever you use, right? E-sign. But how to close the deal, how to get the signature on the dotted line, get all your T's crossed and your I's dotted so you could get that paycheck, right? And that's what sales is about, or a part of it, right? That's where the journey really begins. So we'll get more into that later on in this session. So for now, first topic of conversation is looking for the ops. Where are the opportunities? Okay, it's not about always looking for opportunities. Let me tell you a big secret here. Right? I want you to get close. I'm going to tell you something right now. I want the opportunities to find you. I don't want you to be always looking for opportunities. I want opportunities to find you, for them to be knocking on your door, for them to be crossing your path, for the opportunities to unveil themselves and lay themselves out in front of you. That's what the real good salespeople are doing. They're attracting opportunities. So you're probably wondering, Jeff, how in the world do I go about doing that? Well, let me tell you, the first way in doing that is to build your brand. Build your brand. Who are you? What do you stand for? What are you about? Are you visible? Are you out there in front of the people that are potentially the buyers for your product or services? Build your brand. And just like any other, company, it's building their brand, getting their recognition for what they stand for, their values and what they're all about. You need to be doing the same. Whether it's in advertising, whether it's in social media, whether it's in SEM or any other digital advertising service, how are you building your brand around that? How are you showing people your expertise in this area, right? So there's a lot of cool ways that I've done that in my life. I've used LinkedIn as a way of building my brand, making sure that people know what it is that I do, providing thought leadership, being on podcasts, blogging, right? These are all ways that you're able to build your brand. Speaking opportunities like this one here, right? These are the things that you should be doing as a sales professional or an agency owner, right? To be able to get your name out there. Because if you have a really cool message, if you really know your brand, which is what we're going to lean into next, and you're able to talk about that and communicate that brand, people will come to you. People will come to you. They'll find you. They'll be knocking down your door wanting to talk to you because, man, this guy knows what he's talking about. This guy has a great message. I want to work with this person, right? And that's the holy grail of sales, is not having to cold call. Ugh. I feel a little icky, just talking about cold call. No one wants to get their day interrupted by you ringing up their phone. Now there's a place for that, right? But the great elite top producers are attracting brands their way. And they're doing that by, number one, building their brand. So I want you to do the same. Number two is to know your brand. So this is more reflective of the company that you're working for, right? Who is it? Not only are you selling yourself, but you're selling your agency. You're selling your company. You're selling your corporation, right? Your nonprofit, whatever it is that you're advertising, marketing for, you're selling that. So you got to know your product. And so this goes down to knowing about your product, knowing how it's, having knowledge about your product, your industry, being a master of your craft. So this is important that you're showcasing that, because you're going to be able to then align with people that you could benefit. Also know about who your ideal customer looks like, right? You gotta figure that out and really know, who am I really able to serve best? And look at some of your current customers. How do you find more of people that look like them? So that's what knowing your brand is making sure that you recognize your product and know as much as possible about your industry, know about your company. People want to buy from companies that align with their values, right? We found that to be true at High Digital, is that we align with people that share the same values that we do, and that's where we see a lot of success. And we're able to identify those people because we know what we're about, we know what we stand for, and when we make that message clear and showcase that, the right people come our way. So that's the second point here, is in looking for opportunities, know what you represent and know what you're about, know your products really well. That's going to help you find opportunities. Number three, easy as ABC. 1, 2, 3, you and me, blah, 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 blah. I don't know the rest of the song, but in sales, we got ABC, right? And in the old school sales rep, right, was always be closing, right? You see here, Glengarry Ross. This is a classic, sales movie, and this is like the old school way of doing stuff. Let me tell you, man, the game has done change on us. It's not about closing. It's not about ABC always. Now the ABC is a little different, right? Always be connecting. That's the ABC that I'm about. Always be communicating. Always be consistent. Always be coaching. Always be cultivating. Those are the ABCs that I represent. That's the way that you're going to get more deals, is that the new ABCs, right? So again, what do I mean by that? Is that you got to be connecting with people. You got to be networking with people. Now, I know COVID has changed the game, the landscape of how we do. We no longer go to events, and that's slowly, coming back. Hopefully, we're going back to normal. People are getting vaccinated. They're wearing their mask, and that's going to come back. It may not be what it once was, but guess what? We got things like this happening, right? You can network with people in the chat. You can network with people in the platform that AdWorld has provided for us here. You can network on LinkedIn. You can network in forums. You can network on other webinars that are happening, right? You can network on Facebook, on Instagram. There's different ways to network, so you have to adapt. You have to adapt, but never stop connecting with people and connecting people to each other. That's one of the ways that I found a lot of my opportunities, is by being the connector, being the person that's always communicating, being consistent with what I'm putting out there. Those are the new ABCs of sales, right? So I encourage you to don't be focused on the closing. Nah, man, that will happen. That will come. But do this ABC right, and you'll find opportunities left and right. All right. Lastly, if you want to look for ops, be trigger happy. I don't mean that trigger. I mean knowing what the triggers are for people that are good prospects for you. So in advertising, for example, when there's a new leader at that company, right? That's a good time. That's a trigger, right? So you want to be on the lookout for those triggers to know when it's a good time for you to reach out and engage those people, that particular account. So that's something that I'm highly recommending to you, is to know what are some of the triggers, the possible triggers, is a good timing for you to start that dialogue. So leadership changes are one of them. Funding announcements is another one. A product launch could be another one, right? When they're working on some product developments. So know the triggers, opening up a new location, that could be a trigger for you, right? Expansion for, a particular reason, global expansion could be a trigger for you. Ad spend going up could be a trigger for you. Know your triggers and be trigger happy so you could jump on that and have a good message, a good timing, and you'll see how opportunities are all of a sudden going to be ready to talk to you because you were able to get them at the right time. So here's a saying: when luck, I get lucky, right? I'm very blessed. I'm lucky, and that's what people think. But you know what luck is? When preparation meets opportunity. And guys, I just gave you some of the ways that you could be more prepared. So that way, opportunity just comes to you. And guess what? People will be saying, man, that guy, that girl, they're lucky. They're lucky. No, but you know exactly how you got lucky. You put in that work. You were prepared. So that's what I want for you. All right, next topic. Okay, so we talked about looking for opportunities, having opportunities find you, but now you got to have an engagement, right? You got to put a ring on it somehow, right? This is the most difficult. I'll be honest again. I'm leveling with you guys, transparent. This is the toughest part of this job. Is not when you find the opportunity, now you got to get people engaged. You got people to give you the time of day. People are so busy. They got stuff going on, man. They got a bunch of things that they got to deal with. And then now they got the salesperson trying to sell them stuff, right? So you got to really do this job well. So I put this graphic on the slide because you'll be. I'm going to make you successful in this area, but it's going to take persistence. You're going to fail. I'm sorry. You're going to fail. That's a good thing, though, right? You're going to fail forward. You're going to have to make sacrifices. You're going to have disappointments. You got to be dedicated to your craft. You got to put in that work. You got to be disciplined. But guess what? If you do all this behind the scenes, people are going to see your success in no time. Well, it may take some time. So let me be honest. It's not overnight. But if you put in the work consistently, then you will be successful. It's inevitable. All right? So how do we engage our prospects? Number one, you got to personalize your approach. Everyone is different. You can't treat people the same way. There is no more spray and pray. I want you to pray. I'm all about praying, but that's not that's not going to work for you at a scalable in a scalable way, right? You still got to put in the work. You still got to do your part. Let God do the rest, but you got to do your part. So what does that mean? It means you got to take the time to find out insights that are going to help you personalize a message for your prospect. Be relevant to them, right? And that could be about timing. It could be about, finding the opportunity, the gap that they have that you're able to fill, being relevant or knowing exactly what their role is, being able to relate to people like them, but personalize your message. One of the ways that I've been doing this effectively is using video to send personalized messages, right? Because it's a lot harder to spam video when I'm speaking directly to you. I'm speaking directly to you. Yeah, you there, right? It's a lot harder to ignore those type of messages instead of the generic spam email that goes out to everyone. That's what the top producers are doing. Those that are killing it in ad sales and in sales period, they're taking the time to get to know their prospect. Then they're personalizing the message and reaching out with some relevant information that will get them to engage. It will be a hard message to ignore. So that's number one. If you want to engage your prospects, take the time to do that. Learn about them. Learn what gets them tick and talking, right? And I'm not talking about the social media platform. What gets their heart, pumping? What gets them out of bed in the morning? What keeps them from sleeping at night, right? Those are the things that you got to know really well so you could speak to that and get them engaged. Second, you got to be persistent, man. People are busy. Even though you do all that, you take the time. The first touch may not work. The second touch may not work. The third touch may not work. But if you keep at it, right, of course, in a professional way, don't be a spammer, don't be a stalker, don't be overbearing. But if you do it in that right balance, people respect that. And you're like, man, I want salespeople that are like you, honestly. You did such a great job. I just was very busy. COVID was going on. I had family stuff to deal with. I had a big project, but I'm glad you kept at it because that got us to talk today. So be persistent in your approach. Don't give up after the first few attempts. You got to try different things. So that's, again, the third point here is be creative. Email is not enough on its own. A phone call is not enough on its own. Have you tried LinkedIn voice notes? Man, that's working really well for us. People want to hear your voice. It's hard to duplicate that, right? It makes you stand out from the flood of other stuff that they're getting in their inbox. Video makes you stand out. Be creative. I've gone as far as sending a shoe to you ever heard of this company called Nike? Just a small company out there in Oregon. But one of the ways that I engaged that account is that I sent them one shoe in the mail along with a nice letter. And I said, hey, Nike, I just want to get my foot in the door. I've been trying to reach out to you. I just want to get my foot in the door. It gave me an opportunity to share with you some insight that will help you guys sell more sneakers. Did that help me get the meeting? No, it did not. But it's a creative approach, and that's my point. You got to be creative. You're going to remember that approach, hopefully. And not every creative approach is going to work, but you got to keep at it, right? But I did do one that worked really well. It was a phone company. They sell the prepaid phones. And I sent them in the mail a prepaid phone, and I said, hey, call me. The number, I'm already on speed dial. I've programmed the phone. Call me. I'm ready to be at your service. I've got some great ideas that are going to help take your marketing and advertising to the next level. Guess what? My phone rang immediately when that package was delivered through FedEx. When they opened the package, they saw that phone. They speed dialed me. I was ready, ready to go to serve that account. That creative idea got me my business, got me the contract. Eventually, right? I mean, you guys still have to put more work in it, but the engaging part is the part that, again, is one of the most difficult pieces of the sales process, is being creative and standing out. And then lastly, right, even if you do all that, you still got to bring the heat, right? That means you got to deliver insight that's going to blow their mind. What can you tell them? What ideas are of value to them that are going to help them increase their business? They're just not going to talk to you because you're creative. They may give you a few minutes of their time, but that's not going to get you to that next step. So you got to deliver insight that's going to wow them, whether it's ROI focus, whether it's competitive intelligence, whether it's an audit on what they're doing wrong, things that you're able to fix. You got to bring the heat. So bring that insight and watch your prospects engage with you. And they're ready to take that next step. They're ready to go a little deeper with you. And that's what we want. Energy and persistence conquers all things. And I hope you're getting some of that through this presentation. You realize the importance of energy and you realize the importance of persistence. Because if you do, and that's the only thing you take away from my presentation today, then you're going to be a winner. So I'm so happy that you're here today. All right, guys. So now, okay, hang on. Let's back up. Let's back up. So now we got the opportunities, right? We found them. They found us. We're engaging them, right? They're listening to us. They're paying attention. Ooh, I like it. We're on the right path. Now it's time to pitch. Now it's time to get up on that stage. Now, you guys know about Shark Tank, right? Oh, no pressure there, right? You just got these millionaires staring at you in the eye. You're up there with your product, your story, your service, whatever it may be, ready to pitch. And it seems like you're put under this spotlight. And it's a challenging and nerve-wracking piece of the sales process, but it's essential. Oh man, this is the part where I see many people drop the ball. And let me tell you why they drop the ball. Number one, they make it about them. They make it about them. Look. Let me tell you something. When you pitch, it's not about you. It's about them. You make that client, you make that prospect, you make that the person, your audience, you make it about them. And that's how you tell a good, compelling story. They're the protagonists of this story, not me. I'm just facilitating the process. I'm just the storyteller, but the story is about them. So never forget that. And the way that you make the story about them is that you learn them. You learn about them. You learn about their audience. Who are they trying to sell to? And you go deep in that discovery, right? So even before you get a chance to pitch, you got to take the time to get to know the prospect. Know what they're about. Know their numbers, right? Which leads to my next point, is that you got to use data to tell a story. A story that gives you the warm and fuzzies. It's not just about that, right? It's not just emotional. That's an important piece of it, right? But you got to have a logic. You got to have data. You got to have the business case that's going to motivate them to really move forward. That's the 1-2 punch, I call it. So not only are you making a story about them, you're using good information, good insight that's going to engage the prospect and make them important, make them feel like they're the only people that matter at that time. But then you're going to use data to follow that through. You're going to use data to be able to calculate and project, if you move forward with me, this is what's in it for you. Here's the ROI. Here's the lifetime value of a customer increasing. Here's your retention going up, right? Those are the things that they also care about. Now, of course, it's emotional, but it's also logical, right? You got to use logic, and data is a powerful piece of that puzzle. In order to be able to really tell a compelling pitch, you got to know your numbers. So that's the second point. The third point is you got to be yourself. You got to be yourself. Many people get up on that stage and they try to pitch this product in a way that is just, man, it's, I cringe sometimes thinking about how people fake it, right? They're lying, right? They're lying. Why are you lying? They're telling this story that's not true to themselves. Look, everyone else is already taken. You gotta be you. You gotta be you. You gotta keep it 100. So if in the pitch, right, you get something that comes up that, hey man, maybe we don't do that. Don't pretend like you do. Don't make up stuff like you do. They could see through that. People sniff that out immediately, and guess what? Man, your trustworthiness is down the drain, right? You've killed the deal because you weren't authentic. You weren't trustworthy. Don't lie. Don't make stuff up, right? You don't want to do that in a pitch. You don't want to do that ever in that relationship because now you jeopardize. Look how hard we worked to get this opportunity in front of us, and you jeopardized it through a lie. So in sales, right, and that's what one of my goals in life is to revolutionize the way that people think about salespeople, right? They have this sneaky, sleazy, pushy type of stereotype in their mind, and that's not how we do things. That's not how we roll. At least at High Digital, that's how we do things, and hopefully you are learning from this and you're not doing things that way. But be authentic, be trustworthy. And lastly, be passionate, baby. My heart beats for sales. You could see my passion. You could sense it. Right? Can we sense your passion when you're pitching? Can we sense your caring for the customer and the prospect when you're pitching? If they can't pick up on that passion, man, you're going to have a hard time closing that deal. But you got to show them that you care. And you show them that you care through your passion, through your excitement, through your enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is contagious, more so than COVID. So get them contaminated with your enthusiasm, with your positive energy, because that will go a long way in getting the business. Great stories happen to those who can tell them. So remember, part of pitching is telling a story. The story is about them, not you. You're using data and numbers to be able to back up that story and make it logical and business, make business sense. You're telling that story from an authentic place and making sure that you're building trust in the process. And lastly, be passionate. And that's how you're going to get your prospect to react to your pitching in a positive way. All right, guys. We're almost through. So we put in all this work. Man, this is I'm so excited. Hercules. Now we're in the last piece of the pie here. The last little bit of the mile that we've got to run is closing the deal. Because nothing ever happens till that deal is signed, sealed, and delivered, right? So we got to close the deal. Just the pitching is not enough. Now you told a great story. You've been very persuasive in your story. You've had some great data in your story. They're all over. They're salivating, ready to know what's next. And guess what? Here's where a lot of salespeople, rookie salespeople, fail, is that they don't ask for the business. They don't say, Mr. Prospect, I want you to be a customer. How can we make that happen? Mr. Prospect, we're ready to move forward if you are as well. Can we get this kickoff started by next Monday? Does that work for you? Ask for the business. Are you ready to move forward with me? Do you want to be part of this team? Ask for the business. The reason that you're not getting what you want is because you're not asking for it. In my family, we have a saying that says, it goes like this: closed mouths don't get fed. Closed mouths don't get fed. So you got to open up your mouth and you got to ask for what you want. That's the first step in closing the deal. Right? So what's the worst that they're going to happen? They're going to say, no, well, guess what? That's where the selling then starts. So don't be afraid of no's. A no is just, a little bit more work that you got to do to get to the yes. So you're going to get objections, right? So that's the second point here in closing the deal is you got to deal with the objections. I want to surface those objections. And in fact, I want to do the 8 Mile approach, right? You guys seen 8 Mile, Eminem, what's up, the rapper, right? What did he do in his last battle with the rap guy, right? He basically said all the bad things that the other guy was going to say, the one he was rap battling was going to say, and freestyling. He was able to take all that ammunition away from him by being up front with those things. He took the the air out of that balloon very fast, right? So one of the ways to deal with objections is to actually handle the objections before they even become an objection. But if you do have objections that come up, which you may not uncover everything right away, deal with them. Answer them in a way that satisfies your prospect, right? An objection is not a no, just maybe not right now, or maybe we got to address this first before we give you that yes. So deal with the objections as they come up. Third is to address the warning signs. Those are the red flags as well, right? Where you have an inkling, you have a gut feeling that, man, maybe this is going to be a problem for them. Don't wait for them to bring it up. You bring it up. Mr. Prospect, I sense that you may not have the budget for this. Is that an accurate way of thinking? Is that accurate to you? I feel like this may stop us from having a successful partnership. Would you agree with that statement? Don't wait for them to talk about it. You bring it up. Again, this is a great way to build trust because it shows them that you're very attuned to what they're telling you and what they may not be telling you, right? So be really tuned into them, and you'll see how you're going to close those deals faster and more solidly, right? So address those warning signs before they come up, and watch your trustworthiness skyrocket through the roof. Lastly, give them a warm welcome. No longer are we shaking hands, right? And say, hey, yes, close the deal. Due to COVID, right? We got to give those elbow bumps. What's up? We got to give those fist bumps. What's up? Right? But give them that warm welcome. Make them feel like they're part of your customer family, right? And they make it smooth, right? When you assume the sale, that's really what I tell my agencies, the people that I work with day in and day out, is that you want to make them feel like they're a customer already, even though they haven't signed. Give them that warm welcome. Treat them the way that you would treat your best customer. And they're gonna want that all the time. They're gonna be addicted to that love that you show them. So that's how you close deals. That's how I've closed deals. I've been able to generate millions of dollars in revenue for my different companies and helping people do the same, right? By following these principles that I'm now passing along to you. But remember, closing the deal is just the beginning of the relationship. That's just where things start. You got to then keep the customer, satisfy the customer, exceed their expectations. And I got a lot of other insight that I hope to share with you. I got another event coming up, which is the Agency Summit, right? So if you'd like, you could stop by my virtual booth at High Digital, right? We're all over this event. We're one of the top sponsors. We're sponsoring the Q&A chat. You'll see us pop up all over the place. Come visit our virtual booth, and we got some perks there that are just for you, right? We got another event where I'm going to be going into more details on the prospecting, sales side, retention, automation, just so much more content that's delivered for free for you in particular. So go and claim that. Thank you so much for being part of the session today. Thank you again for your time. I hope you gained some value. If you did, tweet me, at me, Instagram me. Now let's go close some more deals, baby. Woo! Thank you. And this is Jeb Zelaya bringing the heat. Love you guys. God bless.